How do your retirement savings stack up against the national average? Do you have enough saved to retire early or even retire comfortably at age 65? In today's video, we're going to be going over some retirement basics, including Social Security, Medicare, and a health insurance saving hack that can help you boost your retirement account. As always, if you have questions, you can reach us in the comments below or at the number on the screen. We are licensed health insurance brokers and we're licensed nationwide, and there's absolutely no charge for our services. And we do release these videos on a weekly basis, so make sure to subscribe to stay up to date, and please like this video as well. All right, let's get to it. So we're going to be pulling our research from a variety of different creditable sources. However, as a reminder, we're not financial planners or financial advisors. However, we know that many of our viewers are financial gurus, so if that's you, feel free to weigh in the comments below. First, let's talk about retirement savings. Let's talk about the averages by age. So I looked at many articles, but most of the articles seem to refer to the 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances to discuss the average retirement savings by age. And this chart breaks down not only the average retirement savings by age, but also the median retirement savings by age. So average is, of course, taking into consideration all of the various numbers. Median is the midpoint between the highest recorded and the lowest recorded. So for under 35, it looked like the average retirement savings, again, this is going to be skewed by those extreme high earners as well, was $49,130. A more accurate reflection of retirement savings for this age group will likely be the median retirement savings. So for that age group, it was $18,880. For 35 to 44, it was $141,520, or $45,000 for the median retirement savings. For 45 to 54, $313,220, or $115,000. 55 to 64, $537,560, or $185,000. And for those over 65, $609,230, or $200,000. Now these numbers are a little bit concerning when you take into consideration how much it's advised for you to have in your retirement account to live comfortably. So this is what I found as far as what's recommended for the portion of your salary to have saved as your retirement savings by age. Now, the youngest I could find was age 30, even though, of course, it would be better to start saving earlier, but this just seems to be what's readily available on the internet. So that we can compare apples to apples, we're actually going to start at 35, and it recommends that you have between 1 to 1.5% of your salary saved. So let's say 1.2. However, what is the median salary? Now we're going to talk about medians because the average would just be completely inaccurate. We know that there are people that make under $20,000. There are people that make millions of dollars. So the average is not going to be an accurate representation. So let's look at the median. Now the median salary for someone between 25 to 34 years old is $52,936. So we should have, according to that other chart, 1.25 times that amount saved. Okay. 52,936 times 1.25. So apparently we should have $66,170 in our account for our retirement savings at that point in time. Let's take a look though, because I don't think that's what we discovered earlier. So for that age range, under 35 or even 35 to 44, it looks like the median retirement savings was either $18,880 if you're under 35 or $45,000 if you were anywhere between 35 to 44. So we're already way off base. Let's take a look at the next age bracket. Maybe we've caught up. So the next age bracket would be 35 to 44. So let's take a look. 35 to 44, we should have somewhere between 1 to 4 times. So let's say 2.5, right in the middle. So what is the median salary for that age range? Well, the median salary for that age range is $63,596. $63,596 times 2.5. So we should have $158,990 saved. But it looks like in this age bracket, the median retirement savings is only $115,000. And I'm not very hopeful that we're going to catch up, but let's try. So our next age bracket is 55 to 64. So between 55 and 64, we should have somewhere between 4.5 and 13.5 of our salary saved. So let's just go on the lower end and say 6 times the median salary. So the median salary at this point, $63,336. $63,336 times 6. So we should have at least $380,016. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like we're going to meet that benchmark either. So you can see we're definitely falling short if we're relying on these numbers alone, or at least a good chunk of the population is. Now, it's obvious that Social Security alone isn't enough for the average American to live on comfortably after retirement. More on that later in the video. So the minimum age to start collecting your Social Security benefits is age 62. However, it will be a reduced benefit amount. So if you are able to support yourself through other means at age 62 and later, it's highly advised that you wait until a later date to start collecting. The amount that you collect for Social Security is dependent upon a series of factors, including how much you earned over your lifetime, the year you were born, and when you started collecting, even down to the month. You'll receive your full Social Security benefit if you start collecting at the age which Social Security considers your full retirement age, or FRA. Now, it used to be 65, however, for those born after 1960, it's been pushed up to 67. This is ssa.gov.gov, and this will give you the best information as to your FRA, which is full retirement age. So basically, just click here on the year that you were born. Let's say you were someone that's born in 1957, and your full retirement age would be, let's scroll down, 66 and 6 months. And you can see here that it will detail what percentage of your benefits you would receive starting at age 62, because as I mentioned, the earliest you can start collecting benefits is 62. So if you were born in 1957 and you started collecting at 62, then the percentage of the benefits you would receive would be 72.5%. And of course, that goes up and up and up and up and up as you approach your full retirement age, 66 and 6 months. And that changes from year to year, with the exception of 1960 and later. If you were born 1960 or later, then it's going to remain the same, which would be age 67. So now that you understand your FRA, let's talk about how retiring at different ages impacts your Social Security benefits. Now, although you can start collecting as early as 62, that will be a smaller or reduced benefit, and that's not going to change once you've reached your FRA. It will remain a reduced benefit for the rest of your life. So it is highly advised that you wait until later, ideally until age 70, to start collecting your Social Security benefits. So you've already seen how your benefits are reduced if you start collecting at an earlier age, namely 62. And of course, you'll get your full benefits if you were to retire and start collecting benefits at your full retirement age. However, if you can hold off until 70, then you will actually receive additional benefits. So if you scroll down, you see that if you wait until age 70, you'll basically receive 124% of your full retirement benefit amounts. And that's actually a pretty significant difference. There's a calculator on this page, so I'm just going to put in some generic information. Okay, and we're going to say that we want to retire at 70. Let's put in something that was equivalent to that median income. It was somewhere around 66,000, I think, and 3% to adjust for inflation. Now we scroll down. So if we were to retire at 66, which would be the full retirement age for somebody born in this year, this month, then our benefits would be $1,814 monthly or $21,768 annually. But if we waited until we were 70, it would be $2,957 monthly or $35,484 annually. And that is a pretty significant difference. So you can see that even with Social Security, it's probably not enough to live uncomfortably in your retirement. And there are many different ways to bolster your retirement account. However, as I said earlier, we're not really financial advisors or planners, so those types of investments aren't really in our wheelhouse. However, again, our financial gurus can feel free to weigh in the comments below. One thing we can discuss, however, are HSAs. An HSA is a health savings account, and it can be offered as a special type of benefit in conjunction with an HDHP or high deductible health plan. Basically, it's a separate account with your money in it, and the amount that you can contribute is determined by the IRS, and they set a different cap every year. So in 2024, the max contribution for an individual who has an individual plan is $4,150, and for someone who is on a family plan, it's $8,000. HSAs offer what's known as the triple tax advantage, and that's because the amount that you contribute is pre-tax, therefore lowering your taxable income. These accounts themselves are interest-bearing, and that interest is not taxable. And as long as you withdraw the funds for a qualified medical expense, then again, that will not be taxed. Now that's wonderful, but that alone is not enough to bolster your retirement account. What you may not know is that you could actually invest a certain portion of your HSAs, and the earnings on those investments are not taxed. So let's break those numbers down. This calculator can be found on mybenefitwallet.com. So we are not financial advisors. I would highly recommend, if you are interested in an HSA for financial benefits, that you work with a financial advisor. But I just wanted to take you through this calculator to give you an idea of how you can invest with your HSA. So first, I'm going to click on family as opposed to single, because if you are enrolled in a family plan, then you can contribute up to $8,600, which obviously is going to give you a lot more to play with as far as investments. Remember, you need to keep at least $2,000 in your HSA, and the rest can be used for investments. Now let's put that you're going to retire in 30 years. Okay? And we're going to do, it's going to let us do $691.67 per month. I guess that's because that will take us up to our yearly contribution. We're not putting in any healthcare expenses because this is what would happen if you were strictly using your HSA as an investment tool. So you're not really going to withdraw for qualified medical expenses. This is just if you want to use an HSA for that triple tax advantage. For annual rate of return, I put it in 10% because that seems to be about the average for the annual returns for the S&P. And this is what it automatically populated for marginal tax income rate. So you can see that with all this information put in, if you were to continue to contribute that $691.67 per month for your family plan, and of course, you could potentially contribute more because it does tend to increase on a yearly basis as far as what the maximum contributions are, then after 30 years, you could have $1,438,184.39. So you can see how contributing to an HSA could certainly help you to retire early. Now that's, of course, if you have that kind of cash on hand that you are able to invest. If you are going to do less, of course, it's going to be less. So I just put in $250 per month, which is a significant difference, but that would still leave you with $519,823.18, which is still $500,000. So obviously contributing to an HSA can certainly have major financial benefits. Now, as I said earlier, you can of course withdraw those funds for qualified medical expenses. However, you don't have to. You can let those funds roll over from year to year and hold on to it until you're 65. And at that point, you could convert it to a basic retirement account, or of course continue to use the funds for qualified medical expenses. Finally, let's talk about Medicare. Now, we've got a tremendous amount of videos dedicated to Medicare, and I'm going to link the playlist at the end of this video for you to learn more. So today we're just going to be going over some of the basics that you need to know. You'll first become eligible for Medicare when you turn 65. Original Medicare is divided into two parts. There's Part A, which is your hospital insurance, and Part B, which is basically any time you see a doctor. Now, for most people, there's actually no premium for Part A. However, there is a premium for Part B. Your Medicare Part B premium is actually determined by your income. However, Medicare is looking at your income from 2 years prior. So if you've recently retired and are therefore making a significantly lower income, you may be eligible for a reconsideration. At that point, you may wish to file for IRMA. So this is the IRMA form, also known as the Medicare Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount Life-Changing Event Form, or SSA-44. Basically, Medicare is looking at your taxes from 2 years prior to determine whether you need to pay an additional amount on top of that base Part B monthly premium. However, it's likely when you retire that your income will decrease. But Medicare is looking at the information from 2 years ago. So it's possible that you could be paying additionally on top of that regular premium without the need to. Basically, if you are single and you are now making less than $103,000 and you were making more than $103,000 before, or if you are married filing jointly and you were making more than $206,000 before, then it's definitely a good idea to go ahead and file this form. That way you don't have to pay those adjustment amounts. Now, on the flip side, if you are continuing to work past the age of 65, then you may want to defer Part B. If that's the case, then go ahead and follow the instructions on the back of the card and send it back. Because if you keep the card, you're going to keep Part B and you will be charged for it. And if you're maintaining creditable coverage through your employer, then there's really no need to pay for multiple forms of insurance. Although Original Medicare provides really comprehensive coverage, there are some financial gaps to be aware of. For example, there are deductibles and copays and coinsurance, and there is no out-of-pocket maximum for Original Medicare. And that's where a Medicare supplement plan will step in to fill in the gaps. Medicare supplement plans aren't going to offer additional benefits not already offered by Original Medicare, but they will fill in those financial gaps, so help to cover deductibles, copays and coinsurance, or impose an out-of-pocket maximum when applicable. There are 10 different plans with 10 different price points. So here are the 10 Medigap plans available. Plan A, B, C, D, F, G, K, L, M, and N. And this chart just details what benefits are offered by which plan. Now remember, Medigap plans aren't going to offer additional benefits that aren't already offered by Original Medicare. For example, Original Medicare doesn't offer dental benefits, so you're not going to see that any of these plans offer dental benefits. Instead, what they're going to do is help to cover or possibly entirely cover copays, coinsurance, and deductibles. So basically, you pay a little bit extra, but almost all of your out-of-pocket expenses, or possibly all of your out-of-pocket expenses, will be taken care of. So you can see that all of the plans will cover your Part A coinsurance, which is extremely helpful. All the plans will cover in some capacity Part B coinsurance or copays. Plans K and L are known as cost-sharing plans. So basically, they're going to contribute to these out-of-pocket costs, but Plan K will cover 50% of your cost, and Plan L will cover 75%, and that's just pretty much, generally speaking, across the board. All the plans will cover the first 3 pints of blood in case of need of transfusion. Part A, hospice care, coinsurance or copays, that's very important. Skilled nursing facility care coinsurance, again, very, very important. The only plans that don't offer that is Plan A and Plan B. Your Part A deductible, that's that deductible that's applied per benefit period. So if you do need to be hospitalized more than once in a given year, then you might have to meet that deductible again, and that can certainly be very expensive. The Part B deductible, no plans that are offered to new enrollees are going to cover that Part B deductible, but that's a once annual deductible and it's not very expensive, so it's not your biggest concern. Part B excess charges. So basically, if your doctor accepts Original Medicare, then they accept the amount that Medicare is willing to pay out. However, they can choose to charge an excess charge, which is up to 15% more. Now, I wouldn't necessarily worry about these because they're not all that common and they're not even permissible in all states. The only plans that do cover Part B excess charges are plans F and G. Plan F is one of those plans that's not offered to new enrollees, but if you are looking for the most comprehensive coverage available to everyone, then that would be Plan G. Foreign travel, almost all plans will cover that in some capacity, 80%. And then there's this out-of-pocket limit. You'll see it's asterisked here because it's not really applicable. Plans K and Plan L, because they are the cost-sharing plans, they do have an out-of-pocket maximum, which is very helpful because if you do have major medical bills, Original Medicare doesn't have any type of limit or threshold on what your spending could be. Something of note that Medicare doesn't cover are prescription drugs, and that would be where a Part D plan comes in. These are strictly prescription drug plans. Now, it's very important to note with Part D that there are 4 different stages, basically. There is your deductible, the initial phase of coverage, the coverage gap or donut hole, and then catastrophic coverage. And these are financial thresholds that are set every year. Basically, you will have to pay out of pocket, except usually for those lower tier medications, which we'll talk about in just a minute, until you reach your deductible. At that point, you'll have a set copay or coinsurance dependent upon the tier of the medication. Then you will reach the coverage gap, at which point you may notice that the price of your medications may increase. And if you continue to spend until you get to catastrophic coverage, then there is no charge for your prescriptions for the remainder of the calendar year. And finally, there's Medicare Advantage, also known as Medicare Part C. These are actually managed care plans that are offered by private carriers, and they are a replacement for Original Medicare. Now, they must offer at least the same benefits as Original Medicare. However, many plans offer additional benefits like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug that are not offered by original Medicare. The downsides of these plans is that they can have restrictive networks and that, of course, they are managed care plans, which means that not only does your doctor need to approve a given treatment or service, your insurance carrier does as well, which can mean a lot of extra paperwork. And then because there are those networks that can be rather restrictive, many people report that they have to travel significant distances to find a specialist who accepts their plan. So that's the long and short of it. If you have any tips and tricks about saving for retirement or utilizing Medicare in your retirement, we would love to hear from you in the comments below. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach us in the comments or at the number on the screen. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hey, here's that Medicare playlist I mentioned, so make sure to check that out if you want to learn more about Medicare. And of course, please make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.